Welcome to the Small Tales Podcast. I am your host, Thomas Maynard. Our guest for the first episode will be Ellen Most from Alliance Children's Theater, located in New Haven, Connecticut, and Jay Miles from East Haven Public Television in East Haven, Connecticut. Welcome to the podcast, Ellen. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about Alliance Children's Theater, which is one of my main passions.
So we can get started. Can you share the founding vision behind Alliance Theater and what inspired its creation?
Alliance Theater was a main stage theater, mostly with adults, when it was founded in 1978 by a visionary theater artist, Carol Penny, who at the time created this theater to serve underserved audiences and underserved theater actors. And it has morphed into many forms since then. It at one time was a main stage that also had adults performing for children, a children's theater. Then they added children, and then we had both running simultaneously, main stage adult shows, The Crucible, All My Sons, many shows. And then the children's theater was running simultaneously with children performing for children. And it's now just Alliance Children's Theater.
Could you elaborate on the process of establishing Alliance Children's Theater within Fairhaven School?
Yes. So for many years, we were housed at University in New Haven. When the theater was started, they were in the city, in the community performing group, and they were performing at churches and halls within the city. And at some point, they became part of the residential theater at University in New Haven. So we were there for many years. Kind of lost our vision there because we weren't really servicing those New Haven community folks that they had originally planned to service. So we left University of New Haven when they had a change in administration there, and we were back on the road. And then the principal at Fairhaven knew me. So she called me and said, "Are you still on the road?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Would you like to be the resident theater company at Fairhaven School?" Fairhaven School is a great auditorium. I'm a New Haven educator, arts educator. I've been New Haven arts educator for 44 years, and I knew the theaters, and it, in my opinion, is the best theater in the district. So she said, "I need you to take care of it." For many reasons we won't go into, but so we take care of the theater. We make sure everything backstage is in order, at least between shows. We sew curtains if we have to. We rehang curtains if we have to. So we maintain it for them, and we have the wonderful opportunity to be in residence there.
What distinguishes Alliance Children's Theater from other children's theaters in terms of its mission or approach?
So Alliance Theater has been around for years and years, and what I've seen in my 25 or more years that I've been with them is that their new children's theaters and community theaters are popping up everywhere. The difference is the people we serve and the people that perform with us. First of all, children's theater, we have many students who are forming into actors who have no experience. We don't look for glossy 8x10s when they come and audition for us. Everybody gets a part and everybody gets experience, and it is a free theater company for all participants, including our summer programs. We do 3 shows a year. We usually try to have one foundational show, which is maybe small skits or little scenes, a lot of younger kids that can build up. So we just performed Bebop with Aesop, which was really many different fables. And we have one building program throughout the year. And then we usually do one during the year, bigger show. And our summer production is our biggest, but everything is free. There's no mandatory ads to sell. There's no purchase your own costumes. There's no audition fees. It's really for kids that can't do that. Um, but we have other kids too that could be involved in those kind of theaters. It's a big family. So our mission is about equity and access. It's about providing access to everybody in the performing arts.
How do you select the plays and productions for Alliance Children's Theater, and what criteria do you consider when selecting those plays?
So in the summer, I select based on who I know will have as pretty much an eighth grader, because after eighth grade in the summer, the actors can be on staff. Um, and those are generally our plays. I can tell you the next two. We're going to be doing Mary Poppins Jr. this summer, and next summer I already know we're going to do Snow White and the How Many Ever Dwarfs We Need. Um, and during the year, we look at plays based on who we had in the summer that would probably want to stay, who we have. Is it a rebuilding year? How many students are leaving to go to college or on to their high school productions rather than be so involved with us? A lot of reading. I usually do one show that we've done before so that everybody's comfortable as a directing staff. And then we can make the kids feel more comfortable. We know kind of what we want to do with that. I usually try one developmental show and one some that's going to be totally new.
Can you discuss the impact you've observed on the students who participate in Alliance Children's Theater? Are there any notable transformations or dev- developments you've noticed?
Yeah, we've had so many of those stories, many, many. We have many students that are multilingual learners. So they're just learning the English language, and it's helped with that vocabulary development. I've had students that were tutored and had trouble reading, and they come to us. They are happy to read. Their fluency and their comprehension improve. And um, we have many special needs students that come through our theater. There's a place for everybody in our theater. Um, and they've been with us even through their 18 to 21 years. And we have students, those special needs students that have become leaders in our program, whether it's helping other kids just access scripts or whatever, or really coaching them. Um, and we have kids of all backgrounds, all social, all cultural backgrounds, all economic backgrounds. And so they transform into one big family and they spend time with each other and spend time at each other's homes. And so what happens backstage and in the community of Alliance Children's Theater is so much more important than what happens on the stage when we actually.
Reflecting on your experience directing plays for Alliance Children's Theater, could you highlight a production that stands out to you and what made that special or meaningful?
Wow, there's a lot of them. I want to talk about two. We did Rainbow Fish, which I have never done, and I thought it was going to be this nice little easy show, and everybody knew it. Most of the students didn't know Rainbow Fish, most of the actors, but it turned out to be a great show. It was big, it was beautiful. It was our first big show back after COVID. And other than summer, it was our first season show. And it allowed for a lot of us to be creative and a lot of the students to be creative and create their characters and costumes. And so I've never done it. And I look forward to 10 years from now, maybe pulling it out again because I think it was a wonderful production. Um, and then Music Man has always been one of my favorite. And of course, that relies on having the correct person for the Music Man. And we don't really go around recruiting for that so much. I visit a lot of middle school shows and New Haven public school shows and say, hey, you should join us. You should come to our summer production. But I had the right person last summer. He had been with us for 10 years. He was leaving his eighth grade year. So we did the Music Man last year, and it was the second time I did it. It's always so much fun, and it's a heavy show. And the kids really did a great job. And they put summer productions together in 2.5 weeks uh, because camp is 4 weeks, but we spend the first part of camp auditioning, trying parts out, and trying kids in different parts, and then 2.5 weeks and a half week of tech, and then the last week we're performing for camps and other groups. So it was a heavy, heavy show, a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, and everybody rose to the occasion. It was great.
In what ways do you envision the future growth and expansion of Alliance Children's Theater? Are there any upcoming performances or programs you're particularly excited about?
I'm excited about being able to spend more time on Alliance Children's Theater as not just the youth director, a director of the place, but as a manager. I'll be retiring from my career this year after 44 years as an arts educator in New Haven and the supervisor of performing and visual arts in New Haven. And so my passion of Alliance Children's Theater is going to be what drives me every day. And so I'm hoping to do more fundraising to make us more sustainable in the future for um, productions. We get fewer and fewer fundings for hiring kids in the summer. So, grant writing, I'd like to see more grants. We run totally on grants and donations and some youth workers from the city of New Haven, but nowhere near as many youth workers as I have or as I'd like to hire. So that would be a big look in the future at more fundraising events. Like I want to do a cabaret, um, events like that to raise money. And in terms of productions, we have Mary Poppins Jr. coming up in the summer. I'm excited about that. We've never done Mary Poppins. But as I said, we look around, see who we have, and say, oh, that could be a good show for that person. So I'm excited about that. I know that person that's going to be playing Mary Poppins is already watching every video she can possibly watch. She has a script, she's already memorizing lines, and she's already telling me what she wants for costumes. So I see that that's going to be a lively production with a lot of newcomers too. And I'd like to do a little more of taking smaller shows that we take on the road a little bit to do more recruiting and some real recruiting efforts. I have a tentative plan for next year's 3 year-round productions. I'd like to do a Winnie the Pooh Christmas Tale, Tail, not Tale, a Winnie the Pooh Christmas Tale. I would like to do, as I said, Snow White in the summer, and an Anansi show, something with an Anansi, maybe Anansi the Spider Man, and or just Anansi Tales. And I'm not sure what our third show will be.
What's the best way to contact you for more information about Alliance Children's Theater?
The best way to contact us is through our email, actwithus1978, A period, C period, T period, with us 1978, no spaces, all one word except the periods, at gmail.com, or visit our Facebook page, which is always being updated, and you can message us through the Facebook page.
Thank you for being on the podcast. We are now going to check out a short video showing the wonderful work of the actors and actresses of Alliance Children's Theater.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you for watching that short highlights video. I would now like to welcome Jay Miles from East Haven Public Television, if you would like to introduce yourself to the audience at home.
Thomas, thank you. I appreciate the chance to sit down and be a guest on your show. I'm Jay Miles. I'm the board chair at East Haven Public Television. I'm a professional videographer, recovering educator, and part-time poker player.
All right. Now we can get into the interview. Can you share your story, or the story, behind the establishment of East Haven Public Television and what inspired its creation?
So ETV has been the public access station in East Haven for over 30 years. And at the very beginning, there were folks who felt that there was a need in this community to be able to present public and government and educational content for the town and the citizens here. And so they formed a board and drafted some bylaws and got a franchise, got approval from the state, bought some cameras, and here we are 30 plus years later.
How did you initially become involved with ETV, and what led you to take on the role of board chair?
So 2015-ish, 14, 15, I was still teaching the video courses at East Haven High School. I'd seen already 2 or 3 of my students get internships or freelance work at ETV. And I was like, what's this ETV? And my colleague then and now, Rob Becker, told me a little bit about it. And I started asking questions and poking around and hearing about an opportunity to join the board. And when that sort of came around, I met the people I needed to meet. I came to a couple of meetings and met the rest of the board, and they voted me in. And then, like 10 seconds later, they did the first election, the board member elect for like the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer. So I didn't even really know what day it was yet, and before I knew it, they were like, "Well, you should be the vice chair." And I was like, I haven't even done a budget with y'all yet. I haven't read the bylaws yet. I don't even know, I think I know your name, but I don't know your, and they were like, no, you're going to do it. And I was like panicked, total panic. It felt like too much too soon. But that was the way the tide was rolling. So I got elected vice chair, And then like 6 months later, the chair was like, I'm resigning. And everybody was like, okay, good. Jay, you're the chair now. And I was like, I am. Um, and so it was a little sink or swim moment. That's the nature of small nonprofits sometimes, with turnover. And thankfully, Deb D'Onofrio, who's our vice chair, joined at the same time I did, and she had been an independent producer and a freelance videographer with ETV for many years and knew the people. And she said, "Well, if you're going to be the chair, I'll be the vice chair." And so we've been forging the rapids ever since together.
Yeah. Can you provide an overview of the different membership options offered at ETV and the benefits that members get when they come to the studio?
I will do my best. So the let's see. So um the sort of baseline member of the public, random person out there who wants to start a podcast or learn how to do video production or learn how to edit or be a part of a multi-camera crew or whatever's, um, $20 a month. We offer discounts for signing up for several months at a time. If you want to do that, you're able to attend any of our trainings for free, for paid members. Which are usually in the evenings. Every now and then they're on a weekend, but they're usually in the middle of the week in the evening. Um, and those cover things like how to use the camera, how to edit audio. We've done podcast training many times. We've done how to use Google Drive. There's a lot of folks out there who want to learn more about that suite of applications. We offer a digital capture cart here. So if you have old family footage or personal footage of like VHS, mini DV, even DVDs that you want to digitize to be able to post, members are allowed to do that. Uh, they can also hire us to do it if they don't want to be bothered. But that is another little perk of membership. And members also get to vote. So the next time there's a board election, um, which aren't normally as terrifying as the one I talked about, they're eligible to vote for those. We run a not-for-profit membership level, which is $250 a year for not-for-profits who want access to the equipment and have been trained on it. We also offer a not-for-profit yearly sort of an beginner level and up type of membership, which is $1,000, but that comes with a set of training that's specifically designed for folks who run other nonprofits. So there's a little bit of a different approach. So whereas we might teach members how to do videotaping just kind of generically, with the nonprofits, for example, it's much more focused on the types of content that they would need to be. Plus, they get access to our staff for additional follow-ups, additional training, and access to edit their content. I think I answered the question.
Yes.
Not sure.
And the next one, too.
Oh, you're welcome. No extra charge.
Can you elaborate on how ETV acquired its studio space at 230 Main Street in East Haven? And were there any significant challenges or milestones that were achieved by moving into this current space?
Yeah, I actually really love telling this story because several years ago, like 5 years ago, we went on a company-wide retreat. Staff, freelancers, volunteers, board members, everybody went to the back room of Twin Pines Diner over here and kind of hashed out like, what do we need to be doing? What do we need to be doing differently? What's our game plan? What's our ideal, sort of way to stay relevant and have that impact and engagement? And we kind of said like, oh, LOL, wouldn't it be great if we could be like right on Main Street, like across from Hageman Library? So much better. And both. So fast forward like 3 years to 2021, I think, 21, 22. And I was on my way to the previous location we were at, and I saw that there was somebody in this space. There'd been a sign up in the window, but I saw somebody in there. So it was the agent, the listing agent, and a potential renter. And I came to a screeching halt, pulled into this parking space, and walked in the middle of their walkthrough. Just walked in Didn't say my name, nothing. And the guy was like, can I help you? And I was like, yes, I'm going to be your next tenant. And he like points at the other people and he's like, and I was like, they're not going to take it. I'm your next tenant. And they kind of looked at me like, what? Really awkward thing to do, like really weird. But I don't know. I just knew. And so they left and he was like, now, what the heck is your damage? And I was like, listen, I know they're not going to take it. I apologize for interrupting, but I'm your next tenant. I'm Jay Miles from ETV. A month later, we signed a lease. A month after that, we moved in. So there were a ton of challenges. I mean, we're essentially trying to replicate what can be done in a traditional TV studio in in a retail space. A former dance company. Before that, it was a grocery store. It was a liquor store decades ago. It's been a lot of different things. It's an older building, which offers some challenges. We had to build a stage. We had to build a control room. We've had to do all the wiring. We've had to add some outlets and some different ways of dealing with the electrical. But it's all been worth it. It really gives us literally a storefront and a sign on the front that says to everybody who comes by, like, we're in the game, we're in the community, we're here for real. We want to work with you. We want to develop your content. We want to promote your business. We want to be involved. It's been worth every challenge that we've had. And I should say, I always forget to do this, but none of that happens. None of the moving, getting the sign, we had to run Ethernet in here, getting the walls painted, hanging the curtains, installing like the staff that I have right now and the volunteers, just been outrageously great. I mean, they've just really risen to the challenge, and brought things to the table that I didn't even know we needed to be doing. I try to learn from them as much as I try to teach them, right? And I've been very thankful and very lucky to have really dedicated people who've helped ETV get to the place we're at today.
Mm-hmm. Can you share some examples of noteworthy projects or programs produced at ETV in the recent years, and how they've made an impact on the community or gathered attention from viewers?
So there's been a big variety, and we really hit kind of a tough spot. We were covering tons of town meetings and all that kind of stuff. And when the pandemic came around, we lost all those opportunities. They were on Zooms, and you couldn't be in a room with that many people safe. So we've had to kind of rebuild that, and we've found a really healthy, willing, dedicated partner in Town Hall. And we've kind of been able to restore our end of the bargain to the public. Our services covering essentially 4 major town meetings: town council and economic development, which we actually live stream right here in our studio. So we live stream 3 of those 4. We air all our airwaves. Beyond that, it's really been about the different kinds of shows that have come through. There's a weekly Major League Baseball podcast that live streams out of ETV. There's a ton of arts content that we've increased. There have been some opportunities to do. There was the Homes for Heroes program in the fall of 2023, where a national organization came to town. People came from all over the country to donate a home to a veteran that happened to be, it was in East, it was a big deal. The governor was there and it was a huge, huge, huge deal. And so we were able to cover, we sent 2 videographers for that. I'm really proud of the fact that we were able to do that coverage. We've done 2 live streams so far. We have another one coming up, one of which was specifically designed to raise money for the East Haven Food Pantry. So we had live musicians on our stage. We had a spoken word poet on our stage. We had various guests from the artistic community and from the food bank itself. We had pre-recorded content from covering what the food bank is all. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you can't put a price tag on. We were pleased with the with the donations we got for them, but it's really about the involvement and the level of production that the staff has been able to deliver. in terms of live stream stuff and pre-edit it. And then I think the other big one, certainly this year, was being able to cover the East Haven co-op varsity boys hockey. With almost every game live streamed. There's a whole crew of adults and students who work together to put those casts live via that YouTube channel. And that team went on a run to the state championship and so to be able to be a part of that and to see the kind of engagement, people really rally around hockey in this town. And as a hockey fan myself, it was really great to see.
What is the typical experience level of individuals who join ETV as new members, and how does the organization support both beginners and more experienced members?
So it's really 0 to 100. We have folks who walk in the door and they've never put their hands on a camera. They've never punched a button on a podcast rig. They've never done any media editing of any kind. They don't know how to add sound effects. They don't know how to. So they're literally zeros. And we nurture them all the way up in whatever discipline or disciplines they're interested in learning. I would say the sort of middle range of folks might have a little bit of experience. And they come in with like a really hot idea for a show, a podcast, a broadcast, a topic. They've got the big idea and they just need to understand how to allow it to come through. To get over the trepidation of the technology. So there's folks who come in and sometimes I don't even know what they're doing, but they're cranking out really good stuff. And other folks kind of need us to shepherd them along. So it's a whole range. There's professionals who come in and rent gear from us. There was a professional photo shoot here the other night. That was that was like 100 level. They knew exactly what they're doing. We just loaned them the lights, gave them the space for that rental, and they got it done for their client like that night. And the pictures looked like it was product shots, and they looked amazing. So I think there's a whole big range. I think the other thing that we're really looking to do is develop like a core of freelancers that we can pair with different creatives. So you might come in with like the best idea ever for this kind of a show, zero idea how to execute it. You might not be technically very savvy, but we're going to be pairing an audio editor or a video editor or a good camera team with that, you know what I mean? So that we can reinforce and support those folks. And we're also working on a kind of how-to guide right now. Our community coordinator, Noelle's developing some like bullet points, like, okay, you've got a great idea. Now what? Like, what does a producer do? How do you get guests scheduled? How do you deal with segments? How do you come up with a name and a logo? And how do you tackle writing a script? People get freaked out that they've never done it before. So we're looking at building more ways to support those kind of creatives as well.
Now, just to kind of end off, how can the viewers at home find out more information about ETV as well as view some of the different, productions and things that have been produced by people at ETV or in the community?
We've relaunched our YouTube channel, so there's a ton of stuff there, and we're adding stuff all the time. It's ETV Community Meetings, ETV CMC on YouTube. Our Facebook channel is probably the most active place in terms of socials, just to kind of get a sense of like when we have trainings or when we're doing special live events, special guest who comes in, or when we do things that are available. And our website is the other way for like sponsors to get more information about how to support us. Our email addresses, our hours, all that stuff's on our website, which is easthaven.t.
Thank you, Jay, for being on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Now we're going to take a short look at what life is like at ETV. Thank you for watching the first episode of the Small Tales Podcast. If you would like more information on Alliance Children's Theater or East Haven Public Television, please feel free to check them out on Facebook. Their links are in the description. And if you would like to get your business on the podcast, please feel free to send me an email at the email that is displayed on your screen now. And if you would like to check out our other series, Vietnam Beyond or Vietnam Revisited, please feel free to check that out on New Haven Communications. We'll see you next time.